Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we're reporting from the Sales 2.0 conference in San Francisco, and we have the pleasure of meeting with Bob Bartholomew. He is Vice President of Talent Management at Revenue Storm. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Gerhard. Thank you for having me.
So why should sales organizations create a sales talent management strategy?
I think when you look at a sales talent management strategy, what your objectives really are is it's fairly simple. It's to bring in, acquire, develop, and advance talent in a way that's aligned to the company's selected go-to-market strategy. It's as simple as that. It's a fairly simple statement as to why. Implementing it is more complex than that, of course.
So what should be the key elements of talent management strategy?
Again, it's kind of the three different things. We look first of all at acquiring talent. So it's about using science to understand, given the selected go-to-market strategy of the organization, using science to understand what the right selections are. It's about development, understanding at a fairly granular level where those people need development, because that's really where their advantages and their vulnerabilities are when they go out into the field to sell. And it's also about understanding what kind of succession plan the organization as a whole should embrace, and who are the people that are most interested and suited for being a part of that succession plan.
So now that's sort of the ideal framework, but the reality is that in many sales organizations, there's a high turnover with new salespeople who are newly promoted managers. What's the cause?
I think there are many, and if we could figure out those causes, we'd all be very rich. But I think there are a couple that we tend to see that recur. One is that an organization hasn't really intentionally selected a go-to-market strategy. And if you haven't done that, it's very difficult then to align all of those different operations, whether it's acquisition of talent, whether it's development of talent, planning, succession planning, and those sorts of things. So not having selected a strategy is one big one. Another one is, though, it's really resorting to gut feel, whether it's the HR, the sales organization, rather than embracing science and aligning to their strategy, they resort to, this person is like I am, I'm sure they'll be successful, and they hire on gut feel.
So how do you eliminate the intuition bias?
Yeah, well, embracing science. And today, with psychometric assessments, we've got a lot of opportunity to understand, again, a company's selected strategy and what it takes to align to that. And it takes a lot of the guesswork out. We can look at, given the company's strategy, we can look at what kind of personalities fit that strategy most directly. What kind of competency background might be at play. One of the big mistakes that people will make in acquiring salespeople is they'll look for someone who's been successful executing a different strategy than their organization executes and wants to execute.
So do you have some general statistics? So if I implement the science that you prescribe, what percentage of batting average improvement can I expect?
So typically what we would see is around a 30%. Today, a 30% without embracing science, 30%, maybe less than that, depending on a lot of different factors. But by using the science, we up that into the 50 to 60% range. So they're more compatible and more aligned with the strategies that the client wants to execute. Significant, yeah.
So as you look into the future where we get more complexity, more competitive pressure, what challenges do you see ahead, and how should sales organizations prepare for that?
Yeah, and because there is so much change going on, what it may entail in many organizations is making some changes to their strategy. Once they make those changes, everything else has to change in order to align. So it's the recruiting and hiring profiles, it's the training and development and coaching plans, it's succession planning. All those things have to be realigned to a new go-to-market strategy. So as things change and as the world changes, there are lots of things that might happen, and it's important to keep everything aligned going forward to that strategy.
So final question, you underlined the importance of matching the talent to the strategy. What about the relationship between culture and talent?
So one of the things that we find is when you're trying especially to make a strategic change from what you have today, we find that there is already a certain culture for that organization, and you're hiring people in who might prefer a different culture. So it sometimes is a big challenge when you're making a big strategic change. You want to create centers of excellence with the understanding that you are hiring people in that prefer a different culture. So you are going to have some interim work around that culture and, as you make that transition.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, Bob.
Thanks for having me, Gerhard.
For anybody who'd like to get more information, go to revenuestorm.com.